Listen, I hate to burst your bubble here, but editing, reviewing, proofreading, three different things, three different animals. Since they are three different things, you should not be trying to do them all at the same time. Proofreading is the least important piece of any document, right? Looking for grammar and punctuation and those kinds of fun things. AI can do that for you. You can go on Fiverr and get somebody to do that for you. You shouldn't be spending a lot of time on proofreading. And then one of the pushbacks I always get is, well, if it's grammatically incorrect, there's a lot of spelling errors. How am I supposed to review it or edit it? It's a valid question. If I get a document like that, right, what I'm going to do is go back to the writer and say, hey, you need to get this fixed. With all the tools out there, right, to make sure that it's grammatically correct and the punctuation is right, come on. You shouldn't be spending any time on that. That's a huge waste of your time. So proofreading, last thing that you should worry about. And if your team can't download Grammarly or use Microsoft Spell Check or whatever the case may be, get them some grammar books, right? There's all kinds of resources out there. So proofreading, last thing we need to worry about. Copy editing or editing, whichever you want to call it, is different from reviewing. Editing is when I make changes to the document itself for readability. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that a sentence doesn't emphasize correctly. Then I might edit that sentence so that I change the order so that it emphasizes appropriately. If a paragraph isn't written for skimmers, I may change or edit that paragraph so that it is written for skimmers. That is editing. Reviewers shouldn't typically be involved in editing, right? That's typically for the writer to do after you have reviewed and given the writer the comments, the suggestions, the feedback that they need to edit their own work, right? So just need to make that distinction. Reviewing is where we look at high level overview of the document. We are looking for higher level concerns, such as, is the targeted reader of the document obvious? And is it obvious early? Do I know who this is written for? Is that clear? Is the outcome or the purpose clear? Can I read the document and understand very, very quickly what the outcome or the purpose of the document is? Is the document logical, right? Does it flow? Does it meet my expectations? Those are the things that we're looking for when we review for readability, right? And I always tell folks to do what I call the gut test. And the gut test is simply reading the document, typically in its entirety, or if you've been using the practices that we've talked about and doing the brainstorming all along, which you should be doing, and anyway, then read the document. And if it doesn't sit right with you, if there's something missing, then that tells you right away that it's not readable. And then the question then becomes, how do we figure out what the problem really is? Maybe the targeted reader isn't clear. Maybe it's convoluted. Maybe the logic isn't there, whatever the case may be. But that's what we're talking about when we talk about reviewing. So again, reviewing is the highest level order. We're reviewing for readability. We're reviewing to make sure it meets audience's needs or readers' needs. We're reviewing for outcome. Editing is changing the document for those reasons, whether you have a technical editor in-house, whether it's the writer's responsibility. That's what editing is. Reviewers really should not be involved in editing. And then the lowest order thing, the third thing that we do, is proofreading. And again, that's grammar, that's punctuation, that's all that kind of fun stuff. But in my opinion, reviewers should never be involved in proofreading, because it's such a low-level task that can be completed by almost anybody, right? Anybody with a degree in English or AI or whatever the case may be. So those are the differences among the three. If you have questions about that, let me know. I'm happy to answer them. But thank you for listening, and talk to you next time. Take care. Bye.